Welcome to True Crime with Strategic Eyes.
Strategic back again, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another edition of We Are On That As News. We got a crazy story for you guys today, but we definitely have to bring awareness to this. So apparently there is a TikTok creator who's not just a TikTok creator, but he's also a pastor and also allegedly the leader of a cult, but not just any cult. Looks like the feds has raided his house because they're alleging that he has a sex cult, ladies and gentlemen. So I'm gonna go ahead and jump right into this and play you guys the feds raiding his home. We're gonna go into some articles. This is affecting a lot of young people in their 20s who have aspirations and all that to be dancers, etc. It looks like this guy's been taking advantage of people for a long time. He even has a Netflix documentary dedicated to him. But anyway, let's gonna jump into this and let's see what's going on.
Front door with your hands up. We have a search warrant.
Now to this, a quiet Tahunga neighborhood rocked by flashbangs. Federal agents storm a property tied to the shocking allegations of sex trafficking. That dramatic raid today tied to an alleged TikTok cult.
Fox 11's Gina Silva. She joins us now live in Tahunga with more there. Gina?
Well, it may have started as a Netflix documentary, but now it is a full-blown federal investigation. Now, right behind me, this property is usually closed up tight every single day, but today, federal agents ran through that gate.
Attention. Anyone inside? Come to the front door with your hands up. We have a search warrant.
It sounded like gunshots to me.
In the early morning hours, local and federal law
They hit him with the flashbangs. Ladies and gentlemen, those aren't gunshots. Those are flashbangs. They're trying to stun the people in there. But that's real serious that they're going in that strong, that heavy, that hot. Wow.
enforcement arrived in this quiet Tahunga neighborhood to serve a search warrant, alleging sex trafficking, money laundering, tax evasion, mail fraud, and COVID-19 pandemic-related fraud.
Wow.
It's really, really creepy, and this is a really great, quiet little community, and a lot of families.
They must have rammed the gate to get in there. Look at that.
The front gate of the property lies mangled and twisted, clear evidence of a forced entry. Sky Fox captured video of 5 people in handcuffs. This is the same location tied to Shekinah Church and 7M Films, both at the center of serious allegations in a Netflix documentary released in May 2024.
7M, an entertainment company founded by Robert Shinn, who's also the pastor of LA-based Shekinah Church.
The documentary, titled Dancing for the Devil, the 7M TikTok cult, alleges emotional and psychological manipulation.
It started out fairly innocuous, but the control slowly grew.
We feel liberated. We feel that finally maybe there's a chance for justice to be served.
Melanie Lee joined Shekinah Church at 15 and left in her 20s. She accuses Pastor Shinn of abuse and running the group as a cult. After years of urging law enforcement to investigate, she now says she feels vindicated.
I know for a fact that they will find things that he's done that are, evil, and he's a criminal. I can definitely say,
she got in kind of young. She was 15 years old. So, she definitely was at the ripe age to be manipulated and groomed. But I never really understood how people could fall into cults. I'm a very skeptical person, so I'm always asking questions. I think I don't have the archetype of being a victim of a cult, but let's keep going.
that, whatever's coming for him, he deserves it.
Right now, the search warrant is sealed, so we don't have an idea as to what the agents were looking for at this specific property. But former members say whatever it is, they're confident the agents will find it. I'll send it back to you in the studio.
How long, Gina, have federal investigators been working this case?
The documentary came out in May of 2024. We don't know how long ago this investigation started, and like I said, the search warrant is still sealed, so we don't know the details. But the former member we spoke with has been part of the investigation, and she says that they've been working very hard on this for quite some time. She didn't give me a timeline.
Right. So basically, they're not just talking about all that other stuff. They're saying that there's sex trafficking happening there as well. I wanted to go over to TikTok, see if I could find something on this, but there's a few things. We'll take a look at it. But first, let's go ahead. You know, the thing with TikTok too is that they play music in the background, and YouTube doesn't play well with music. But whatever. Let's jump in with Ashley Banfield as she interviews one of the former members of this cult. Let's do it.
Tonight, only 6 TikTok dancers are still under Robert Shinn's banner. Miranda Derrick.
Oh, hold on here. One more thing, guys. We have almost 100 people watching us on this early morning live stream. Please hit that like button. Please understand this is another story that's not being covered. There's one news source on YouTube right now for this raid that involves young people who are possibly allegedly have been trafficked by this fake pastor guy. All right. And I say fake pastor guy because if you are a pastor, if you are for the Lord, there should be no reason why you should ever be embroiled in any of this stuff. You know, we know you're proved innocent till proven guilty, but if you're even being looked at for things like this, that means you aren't being the pastor you should be. So please do show that love, hit that like button so we get into the algorithm, because we're bringing awareness yet to another story that's not being covered by the mainstream media. Let's keep going.
Among them, she denies being in a cult and says she's not a victim. My next guest is free of Shinn and 7M, but says it wasn't easy. Aubrey Fisher joins me live now. Aubrey, thank you so much for being on. What was your experience?
My experience with Shekinah was very interesting. I started hanging out with my friends, B-Dash, Vic, and everybody else. We were doing a lot of TikTok videos, Instagram videos, and then COVID hit. And so, long story short, B-Dash was hanging out with his friend, which is Isaiah, which is Robert's son. And then he started hanging out with him, going to his house like every single day. And then later on, you know, they started having meetings. And so then Reno started, you know, my other friends started tagging along with them. And then my other friends started tagging along with them too as well. So it was like a 1-by-1 type thing. And then so I was like, okay, fine. Let me just, you know, see what's this about. You know, let me check it out myself and see how things go. And then, you know, I just started coming around more. And then one time, Robert said something about, all right, we're going to start a message.
He's very talented dancer. You can see him. They're showcasing his moves. He's a very talented guy. You know, these people just want to make it, man. And it's so difficult to make it. And I think there's a lot of pressure when you have these esoteric type goals and aspirations, like things that aren't really that tangible, like dancing and art, you know. And the stigma is these things are not really things you can do to survive off of. So you start looking, well, the only way I can survive off of my passion is to get a big break. That's it. Because society will tell you, you can't make money being a dancer. What are you going to teach a dance school something? I mean, actually, you can make money of those things, to be honest with you. But people get so, the pressure is there for them to try and get that big break that it makes them susceptible to those wolf and sheep clothing that are promising them the world, but is actually, you know, there to take advantage of them. Let's keep going. Somebody said promises the world, and I said it at the same time. With great minds think alike, Lisa Ringer. Great minds think alike. Let's keep going.
Company. This was around the time when I wasn't even a part of the church yet. I was just still going to meetings. I was still hanging out with my friends at the time, but they were a part of the church, and I wasn't. And then so that's how 7M came about. And then that's when he was telling me, hey, if you really want to be a part of this, it depends on how much you want it.
Yeah. It seemed like he was taking 20%, which is not an unreasonable management fee, but things started to change, as I understand it. Like all of a sudden you're being manipulated into being part of the roommate club, and then freedom started to disappear. And then at one point, as I read it, you had to die to your family members in order to be committed to the church. I mean, when did you start to realize this isn't normal, this is a cult?
I started to realize it when everything started shifting, when all the media started pointing out like Shekinah, like Robert Shinn, and like 7M, like this is something fishy. Like everything was being exploded like around social media. And then we had meetings, and then we had services, and then we would change the dates. Like say for instance, we'll have meetings on Wednesday, we'll change to like a Thursday or a Tuesday, or if we had like a service on Sunday, we'll change to like a Saturday. So everything was switching up. And then he wanted to have everybody like go see our families, talk to our friends, make sure that everything that you do, post it so that way people can see that everything is normal and everything just looks like we're not in a cult at all, basically.
I want to ask you.
That was when I was like, okay, this is kind of fishy.
Let me ask you, if I can, about Miranda. You know, she's your dance partner, I think, in this video and a couple of other ones. Miranda's posting videos now that show her dancing with her mom and her sister. But we've been hearing that Miranda's family is desperate to get her to come home or reach out to them. So are those videos real?
I cannot speak on that part because we're not there. But most definitely there is something going on, because that is something that they would do to make everything seem like everything's normal.
But how is she doing?
But
how is she doing videos with her family if they're saying that they're not with her? Are they using AI or something? I don't know what's going on.
Suspect that they're, I mean, it just seems odd. On one side, you've got the family desperate for her to come home and talk to them, and on the other side, she's showing videos that they're together. It just doesn't equate.
It's more so a thing where you have to show it in a way to where everything seems normal, but it's really not. It's still like they're still fighting to have her back, because we know that she's still there and she's still being controlled by Robert, and going by what he says and how he orchestrates everything. It's a whole situation. So that is why she's still talking to her family to this day.
Aubrey,
okay.
I'm so sorry you went through this, and I sure hope the best for Miranda and her family. I'm very thankful for you being here. I appreciate it. Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find
this property 10 from what I could count. If you take a look behind me, you can see the gate is knocked down. This is on the 7700 block of McGroarty Street in Tahunga. It was raided earlier this morning. This is where a search warrant was served. Now, take a look. Sky 5 overhead this morning, and we could see several people apparently being detained on the property. Now, sources confirmed to me that this property is owned by Robert Shinn and is the same home featured in a Netflix documentary called Dancing for the Devil. It's also well known among neighbors who told me that more than a year ago, flyers were passed around letting them know about the serious allegations involved and telling them to look up that information. Now, neighbors say early this morning they saw a large law enforcement presence. They say authorities broke through the gate to enter. The FBI, sheriff's personnel were part of this operation. And according to El Monte Police, the search warrant was served and involved allegations of tax evasion, sex trafficking.
You know, when they come hard, man. They don't care. Look at him living his best life, man.
Leaving this property 10 from what I could
living
count.
His best life.
If you take a look behind me, you can see the gate is knocked down. This is on
All right. Let's hit some articles and let's get out of here. I got to work tonight. Got to detail some community event, but my understanding, and it's no shade, you know, my understanding of this event that I'm gonna be working tonight is that it's prone to violence when the nighttime comes. It's like this community event that's like well-meaning, and then in the nighttime, the baddies come out, and it can be very dangerous, and people are oftentimes injured and hurt and stuff like that. It's very shameful that that's what happens in many communities across the country, that people are incapable of managing themselves. And then we talk about over-policing and stuff like that. But it's like, all right, if the community can't manage itself, if you can't come out and enjoy each other's company without resorting to violence, then you are going to get over-policed. And I think there's a balance that we need to discuss in our society between over-policing and personal accountability and community. I think the balance lies somewhere in the middle, because some communities are over-policed, but at the same time, some communities will not function unless they have a large police presence. So, you know, at the end of the day, these are discussions we need to have in our society, but we don't. But anyway, back to the story. And then what ends up happening is you know, officers are people too, and then we get forced to be in these communities on our days off, and then nobody's happy. Everybody's sad. Anyway, let's keep going. A large operation was seen unfolding in Tahunga. Can somebody please phonetically spell that out for me in the chat? I know one person's like, "Oh my God, I'm from Tahunga or Tahunga." I don't know. I just want to say it correctly, and I know I'm going to say it wrong. and people are going to be upset about it. So somebody in chat, if you know how to say it, please spell it phonetically for me. So a large operation was seen unfolding in Tujunga on Friday morning when federal and local law enforcement served a search warrant for alleged ex-trafficking at a home owned by a controversial pastor and subject of the Netflix docuseries Dancing for the Devil, the 7M TikTok cult. Wow. Woo. El Monte Police Department officials confirmed to KTLA that authorities served a search warrant around 6 a.m. at the home located on 7744 McGrotty Street. In addition to ex-trafficking, the warrant was also issued for alleged tax evasion, mail fraud, money laundering, and COVID-19 pandemic-related accusations, which were not specific by law enforcement. Ariel Donnell says, T is all I got. She helped me pronounce the T. Let's keep going. Sky 5 was overhead around 6:45 a.m. when FBI personnel were seen investigating the large residence and speaking with people at the scene, including possible victims or witnesses. At least 6 people were seen detained with handcuffs, including an older woman who, unlike the other detainees on the ground, was sitting in a chair with her legs covered with a blanket. Under a blanket, rather. Another woman was seen sitting on a outdoor couch, wiping her eyes while clutching a child wrapped in a blanket on her lap. So they had babies there too. Police did not immediately say whether anyone was arrested during the service of this warrant. A property record search for the home listed 6 current owners, included Robert Shinn, who was the subject of Netflix Dancing with the Devil docuseries. A source involved with the series confirmed at KTLA that the property involved in this search warrant was the same property as the center of the series. The Los Angeles Times reported that Shinn, founder and pastor for the Shekinah Church, also founded a company called 7M Films in 2021 to help social media stars and TikTok dancers find jobs in LA. The 2024 miniseries examines the story, lawsuits, and abuse, cult allegations surrounding the Shekinah Church and the 7M Films. The media focus was largely brought forth by 2 different sets of sisters who worked with Shinn, influencers Melanie Wilking and Miranda Derrick, formerly Wilkin, and Melanie and Priscilla Lee. A summary from a 2024 Times article described the series as revealing claims from multiple former 7M members and how Shinn abused and manipulated them and created a cult-like environment. No sexual assault charges were brought against him. Okay, so during that docuseries, they didn't say that he was ex-trafficking anybody. But things can change. I mean, it is what it is. But at least at the time that they were in with these specific people who were showcasing that documentary, they were saying that they were not ex-assault. That's what I'm taking from this article. I've never seen the film myself. Although Shinn did not personally reply to the Netflix series, the LA Times noted that his company 7M replied through an Instagram post calling the docuseries a slanderous work of fiction born from a failed extortation attempt. The post concluded by saying, "We will continue to pursue all legal remedies available to stop the spread of salacious lies and expect to be fully vindicated in court." According to CNN, Shinn filed a defamation lawsuit against several former church members, claiming that they made false statements referring to his organization as a cult, and they launched a campaign to cancel him. The defendants then joined a cross-complaint with other former church members claiming Shinn, his wife, and others of fraud, forced labor, human trafficking, as well as Robert of sexual battery. Okay, it's only a matter of time. When you have power over people, it's only a matter of time till you try and take power over their bodies. It's just human nature. All right, it's just a part of the human condition. All right, that's it. That's why when we go back in time in history, when we look at slavery in America, it wasn't just about forced labor. It wasn't just about economics. It was also about the R word. All right, the slave masters didn't just, not to give you a history level and go in slavery, but you know, we talk about everything on this channel. We're worldly here. You know, they didn't just force people in the fields to make produce. They also took advantage of people's bodies. That's human nature. So when you have a cult, it's always going to end up devolving into the abuse of people's bodies. Look at David Koresh. Remember that guy? Let's keep going. Look at the many people who have been arrested in a Mormon church, etc. I'm not saying that the Mormon church is a cult. I'm just saying that there have been many scandals there. Same thing has happened in the Catholic Church, etc. All right, let's keep going. Islam, the whole nine. Every single religion, really. I should just name them all because it happens. It just happens. Doesn't mean that they're bad. Doesn't mean that the mission is not important. Doesn't mean that the goal of being closer to God is not real. It just means that human beings without failings will resort to that type of abuse when they have power over other people. In addition, the LA Times reported that these countersuits against Shinn alleges brainwashing, physical abuse, abuse, emotional abuse, manipulation, and exploitation. The case was scheduled to go on trial on July 7th in Los Angeles. However, the defendant's attorney group has since confirmed to KTLA that the trial has now set to begin on October 27th. Let's see how that works out for you when the feds are after you. The Fed case kind of validates their case. So not only is he going to possibly lose his freedom, but he's probably going to lose all of the wealth that he has been able to amass as well. Regarding the search warrant, we are grateful that the federal government is investigating Robert Shinn and look forward to our clients and his victims receiving the justice they deserve, stated a partner with Brown, Neri Smith, and Khan LLP. I guess that's their attorneys. Authorities did not state any connections between Friday's search warrant operation and the docuseries controversy. Interesting. Very, very interesting. So it's not being widely covered, ladies and gentlemen, but we have covered it now. And this is the LA Times. I'm not going to read this because it's pretty much going to be cover what we just covered. You can go and find this on your own. LA Times. This is the compound. The feds raided it, broke down the gate. They're so mean. Here's TMZ. Why they had to break the gate? You could have just knocked on the door, feds. You ain't have to break the gate anyway. Sex trafficking warrant served at LA house co-owned by Pastor. I don't know who this is in the picture, but this is Mr. Shinn, and this is the feds sitting people out. Let's see if we can zoom in on that bad boy real quick. Get that out of there. This is an older woman with the sheet covering her feet that they talked about. Okay. Interesting stuff. I'm not going to click this documentary thing because they're going to copyright strike me. This is Shinn here. Let's get a closer look of him. Okay. Mr. Shinn. You have to know good, buddy. All right, man. Make sure you like and subscribe, join the channel, guys. We have over 145 people watching the show right now. We only have 96 likes. I would appreciate it if we could at least get to 100. Guys, remember that we do have a membership. Consider becoming a member of True Crime with Strategic. Also, we have a Patreon. Really awesome Patreon. People seem to be enjoying quite a bit. A lot of people are supporting us on the Patreon, and we would love to see even more. It's a more personal interaction with True Crime with Strategic. You get me raw and unfiltered, something that I cannot do on YouTube. Lastly, we do have a merchandise store. Merchandise store is one of my favorite places to be. I'm going to go ahead and pull that up one more time for you guys. You guys see some of the cool stuff that we have on our merch store. And one thing I say about merch store, and I've said it all the time, and I'll say it again, is always remember, this is what you see, right? But that's not all that we have. When you click any item, you're able to then customize it on other things. So I click this shirt, but when you click it, you find out that you can get stickers, you can get a mug, you can put it on a phone case, you can put it on a tote, you can put it on a pin for you to wear on your suit, you can put it on a magnet to put on your fridge, home goods, you can put it on a pillow, you can put it on a mug. That's the cool thing about Dashery, which is our store, is you can take these designs and you can put them anywhere. Let's go to Does That Make Sense? One of my favorite shirts out there. Does That Make Sense? True Crime Strategic Eyes. You can put that on a hoodie, tank top, hat, sticker, and a kid's t-shirt. Then we go to adult apparel. Even more ways you can put it on: two-tone baseball shirts, long sleeve shirts, kids apparel. We got to get onesies up here, so we're looking to getting some onesies. And then also, once again, phone case, hat, stickers, pins, the whole nine, and home goods, once again, pillows, etc. So everything is fully customizable on almost anything that you would need to give a gift to somebody else. And guess what? They may not know what True Crime Strategic is, but this is a really cool logo. So maybe you might want to get that for a loved one for their birthdays. And this is a really good motivational one right here. This one is a design that was donated to us by one of our viewers, and she is going through recovery, and she wanted to send a message to other recovering addicts out there that she's a survivor, and progress, not perfection, the struggle of addiction. Guess what? We appreciate all of our viewers, even people who struggle with addiction. And so we decided to showcase that. So check that out. This is really cool. This looks really nice on a hoodie. And once again, you can fully customize this on all types of things. I think it'll be a really good pillow too. Think about like laying your head on some inspiration like this. Wall art, tapestry, you can put it on a blanket. This is cool stuff, man. And it's all affordable. If you go on other YouTubers, no shade on them, but you might see this tapestry for $100, right? You go on other YouTubers, let me bring it back a little bit. T-shirts, our t-shirts $28, tank tops $25, stickers $6.50. This hoodie is $45. We try our best to make things as affordable as possible. Just like the lowest tier on our membership is 99 cents. That's right. We're YouTubers and we're giving a membership starting at 99 cents, and our Patreon is $5. All right. On True Crime and Strategic, we're all about loving and respecting our audience and also giving you value for the lowest amount possible. So we hope that you appreciate that. We hope that you continue to support the channel. We do need the support. We'll see you guys on the next one. Strategic is out of here. Let me get that outro up. Here we go. Peace. All right, just want to give a big shout out to Dr. Cataclysm with a $2 super chat, and he says we should look into Shen Young. Shen, SHENYUN. So I'll definitely be looking into it. I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace.